off, I don't know if Brian, you know what I'm saying? They're just disconnected, so.
Okay.
Brian Spence is on.
No.
I heard, so thank you.
It doesn't mean we don't like you.
Now, there used to be a way you could get the faces of all the people that were on Zoom.
Well, if they choose
It's up to
to
Brian.
be, if they choose to be seen, they will show, but he doesn't want you to see his face.
All right, I will declare the meeting now in session at 7. We have a quorum. First item of business is the minutes from our last meeting on the 15th. Does anybody have any corrections, amendments, whatever?
I
Bill.
moved the minutes as presented.
Bill has submitted.
I'll
Bill
second it.
seconded.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any changes, amendments? Corrections? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any abstain?
Just me, I think. I know I can't say, there may have been other people not here. I wasn't here last year.
I didn't know if you couldn't remember if you were here or not. That's how my life is
Yeah.
now. What did I do
All
yesterday?
right.
You can always look at the minutes and find out if you were here.
Yeah.
Before we get
listening.
into the departments, Judy from the library, they're open until 8 o'clock, and she's gonna come over as soon as she can close the library. And the Parks and Recreation won't be ready until next week. And the cemetery with Michael Hinsey's is next week. And unfortunately, our town clerk isn't ready for this week and will be away next week, and we'll give all the information to Dina to present to town clerks next week. And next week, we've got the normal Dina big block of stuff.
Well, we did add in tonight the tax collector,
Oh,
and then we can whip through, depending on the time that you guys have, we can go through some of my stuff so that it's done ahead of time. So it won't take so long next week, because I think fire will probably take a chunk of your time.
all right. I think the way we had it scheduled, David, you were up first.
Okay. I don't have much to say really. I tried to keep my budget down to, minimal increases for things that have increased. The things like.
Excuse me, David, there is a handout with just David's budget on it. It should
Oh, I
be on-
see it now.
On the top of the handouts. Just so you don't have to fight through the budget. Sorry, David.
Yep, no, that's perfectly fine. So, in reality, a few things changed. I'm trying to think, the publications and maps, those are what we get for the tax maps, from the tax map people for all of the planning maps. That increased, so I accounted for that, the increase from last year. And then the regional planning commission dues went up a little bit. And I think everything else pretty much stayed the same.
Oh, how about your recorder? That looked as though it
Oh,
went.
yes, the recorder, that, my recorder for the zoning board, she charges $100 a meeting to do minutes and all the decisions, and it is well worth it. And the zoning board has scheduled 12 meetings a year. So I put in for the budget $1,200. Last year, that was cut in half. We've had fewer zoning board meetings this year, so that kind of worked out. But if we have a full schedule next year, I'd like to have the money for the full schedule.
Anybody else, have any questions?
This is sort of a court reporter person?
Yes,
Okay. Gotcha.
And
She's not a real court reporter, though.
No, but she's been doing this for, well, I've been here 16 years and she's been doing it since before I got here. She's very, very good at it and does an excellent job, and I think Bill would agree with me.
She was the acting zoning administrator for a while there, because she
Yeah.
wouldn't take the job. That was when the selectman had to be the zoning administrator. We hired her to process the applications.
Yeah.
So,
I would say, as chair of the zoning board, she makes our life significantly easier in terms of how we form motions, vote on things. It's a great asset to have someone that knows the statute, knows the process, and knows what has to go into the minutes and what has to go into the decision. So not only, I mean, she records, of course, what we say, but she also reminds us if we should inadvertently forget something. So it's, as David said, it's more than money well spent. We'd be far less efficient and effective without her. So I encourage you to leave that.
what's that? I mean, I see ZBA recorder, but I don't see planning board recorded.
Nope, I do
You're
the
looking at it.
minutes
He's
and the
sitting right
decisions
there.
for the planning board.
He's sitting right there.
I would very much like to, but, you know, since I've been here, I've always been the person doing it, so I'll leave it at that.
Rich,
Yeah.
that was what I,
So I know, David, that I'm an alternate on the planning board, and we've spent quite a lot of time this year trying to figure out how to pull this survey together, which I just wanna put in a plug. There's gonna be a survey about housing questions, so watch your mail. It's really important that we get that information, you know, back to the regularly scheduled program here. Is there, I think it would be helpful if we allocated some money to be able to hire a consultant to do some of this work. We only meet a couple times a month. It takes us a very long time to get stuff done. Is that something that you support?
I would support a consultant if, you know, we knew kind of the scope of the project and what the cost was. I could, you know, putting in just a sum into my budget for consulting fees, that we have no clue what the board wants to hear, or find out what the consultant would do. I can't support doing that unless, you know, we have a full board that has said, this is what we want. And then, you know, so that would have to be something that the board would look at next year, and,
So,
but I just can't support throwing money in without a reason.
all right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
We have another line item on David's budget for the Regional Planning Commission. And speaking to Rich's comment about housing, the Regional Planning Commission did a region-wide study 2 years ago, and formed sort of a baseline for the housing situation here in the Upper Valley, and pretty dismal. If you are a young person or young married person with a small family, you're not gonna be able to afford to live in the Upper Valley, basically, unless you wanna live in a tent someplace. So, but we do have a letter from the Upper Valley Lake Sotavy Regional Planning Commission addressing their dues, which is $2,900. It's a per capita amount that's voted by the commission. It's assessed to all of the towns that are in the region. I think there are 27 towns in the Upper Valley Lake Sotavy region, all but 2 are dues-paying members. And in exchange for being a dues-paying member, we get, or we give, I should say, I should tell you, I'm chairman of the Upper Valley Lake Sotavy region.
You're
So-
chair now. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I've been chair for a while. So, the pay is great, by the way.
oh, yeah, yeah, they pay me great for my subcommittee.
So the point is that, The Upper Valley Lake Sotomayor has staff on hand that are familiar with housing issues in the Upper Valley. They're willing to share that expertise with the towns in the region. They will do so on an ad hoc basis for free in exchange for the dues. And if there are projects that planning board or zoning board or the planning administrator wishes to retain them, they will prepare a proposal. Because we are, or presumably will be, a dues-paying member, we get a significant discount on the rate that they charge. It's about a $20, $25, I forget exactly, but a discount off the rate that would be charged if we weren't a dues-paying member. Historically, I know we have not taken advantage of their services, but.
We have a little bit, but not very often.
That's right, and it's unfortunate because they have a wealth of knowledge and they're already up to speed on most things here in the Upper Valley, so. I know that's a decision of the planning board, David, not necessarily your decision, but I'm just laying it out there so it's on the record that they do have expertise, and they will give us a preferential rate on any services they provide on a contract basis.
Thank you, Bill.
In case people don't know, Bill's the chairman, and I am by default, basically, the chairman of one of the subcommittees on transportation, because the real chairman doesn't show up at meetings.
Well, I will say, last night in Lebanon, the Regional Planning Commission did put on a presentation. The Secretary of DOT, or Chairman, Secretary, I forget which title he has, anyway, the top person in the administration for transportation was there. Karen Leah Hill was there as the executive counselor for this district. Several members of the Upper Valley Lake Sotomayor Regional Planning Commission there, a lot of select people were there, particularly those from Enfield and Charlestown, which have projects. But basically, the message was, we're not gonna fund anything. And not only are we not gonna fund anything, we're not gonna take any new applications for transportation relating issues in the future, and so forth, so on. One of the things that did not come up was the other elephant in the room, was the fact that the legislature isn't funding education. So, you know, there seems to be a lack of big boy, big girl pants somewhere in the situation. We're not doing education, we're not doing transportation. Those are the two biggest budgets for the state of New Hampshire, and by the way, for most towns.
Right.
And we get no help. We get all pushed down from the state. So anyway, that's my.
When the town clerk comes in, we'll get an issue and we'll push down the voting machines.
Anyway, so that's, it's a worthwhile organization to support, and their dues, I think, are money well spent.
And you'll all get that letter in your next email from me. It's coming about
I
there,
think it
so-
was-
There's a hard copy in here.
Oh, there is,
in this
okay,
packet,
good,
but-
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
I had it in
it's
the
good
electronic
reading.
stuff, yeah.
Oh, one other thing, so the other thing the Lakeside Planning Commission does is, it provides staff for the Connecticut River Joint Commission, which many of you know, handles all applications within a quarter mile of the Connecticut River in Vermont or New Hampshire, provides this advice to both DES and DNR in Vermont. And that funding was cut out of the budget by our faithful in Concord. So they cut $30,000 out for that, from the CRJC, and they cut $110,000 out of the budget for all the regional planning commissions in the state of New Hampshire, of which $11,111 would have come to Upper Valley. And so now the CRJC has no staff.
You're proposing to further reduce the BET too,
Yes.
business taxes. They want to further limit this next
Yeah, so
session.
Well,
anyway.
they cut the interest and dividends tax.
Those are completely gone now,
Yeah.
right? As of 2026,
No, I think it's,
2025, is it
I think it was this year.
this year?
This year, I got a notice not to
Yeah,
send in an estimated tax this year.
And they're proposing cutting the BET by 0.5, from
Yeah.
5.5 to 5.
So, I mean, we have now what used to be the most beautiful landscape sewer in America. Now we have a river that actually functions as a river, recreation, aquatic, so forth. So, it'd be nice that we could continue to protect it.
All right, I think we're ready to move on, aren't we? Nothing more for planning and zoning? Matt's here also, and
Thank you very
he
much.
has a sheet here
Thank you,
for,
David.
You too.
so, it's not as bad now that the bridge is back in operation for somebody to go home.
Me either.
Except for the fact that Nick was parked out on East Bedford Road and I was coming in, so.
All right, Matt,
Cool. You guys actually have.
I think we have
Okay,
a sheet
cool.
from you.
Alright,
Of the
Well,
cities, everything.
this one's better anyway.
Income's not on there, sorry.
The sheet or the budget?
Either the budget, it's on page 7 of the big.
Yeah, I think the budget's better because it's on itself, so it's with the percentages and stuff. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna go up, on a couple of different categories, like compactor maintenance, yeah, cost of oil and stuff is rising, usual. Training and certifications, we have to get recertified every year for DES, to operate or work at a transfer station, and we all go to a conference that gets all the certifications done, so that's where the increase in the training and certifications is. Where else? Recycling, the costs are going up on that. We do get some money back, but we don't know what it's gonna be. It depends on the market value and how clean our recyclables are. The biggest one, where is it? Well, other than training certifications, is the municipal waste disposal. So Lebanon landfill was supposed to go up 15% indefinitely every year. And this year, tentatively, they're going up 29.84%. So we've done an average on the last year. We're doing about 4.5 tons a week. So that's the number I came up with through that average. You know, if we get that next year, which I'm sure we will. And then, let's see. Yeah, those are the main increases. If you got any questions on those, I'd be more than happy to try and answer.
Did Lebanon say why? 30%?
So, they did not, I think it's the ongoing, so the cell that they're filling right now is filling up. They are gonna be doing a project where they dig up part of the online landfill, and they're gonna be moving all that material and then lining it, and then refilling it. So, that's a costly expense that they're pushing off to all the surrounding towns in the Upper Valley, cause they're kind of the only game in town, you could say, so.
Well, you can haul it up to Bethlehem.
Yeah, well, we could, I don't know what the call costs would be, it's always an option to look into, but I don't think it would be feasible, but you never know.
Well, the question is, do you save enough on the tipping fee to pay for the hauling?
I doubt it, because,
And I doubt it.
yeah, I mean, you know, usually if someone's at this rate, they're gonna try and match it or come close. It's all about making the dollar, you know, but yeah, I mean, we're kinda, they're the only game in town other than Bethlehem, so it's kind of a hard spot in Rock Place there. Wherever that went.
Does anybody have any comments or questions for Matt? Now, is there gonna be a need to increase the stickers from $4 to whatever they are?
Possibly, I mean, currently, well, I haven't looked at what the revenue has been, but I think it would be at least half, if not more, than what I'm budgeting for this year, that we've made in the past, I believe. So I mean, looking into it, maybe, but
I mean, you don't have the revenue part down here on your
Yeah.
budget request.
I know the last time I checked, it was pretty close to at least half, if not more than half of it. It's definitely half of what I had budgeted for this year. For next year, it'd probably be close to half, if not more, that we'd bring in from revenue.
So if, I'm not suggesting this, but if we doubled the price of the stickers?
Oh God, people would freak out.
No, that's why I'm not suggesting it, but I'm just so I understand, if, they're $4 now.
Yeah.
If we went to 8, that would kind of,
Pay for itself,
pay
yeah.
for the whole thing, so.
Yeah,
So that's.
roughly, yes.
I mean, but it's not like the stickers would have to go to $20 or something
Oh
like that.
God, yeah, people
Yeah,
just.
oh,
go
no,
loud.
exactly, they'd be leaving it right in front
On
of.
the side of the
On the
road.
side of the road, I mean, it's much cheaper.
Yeah.
Okay, good, so I was just trying to understand.
Yeah.
The stickers are revenue that offset the cost, and about half.
It is sort of convenient now that the card is even $20.
Yeah, it's nice.
Right. If you had them at $3.25, it would be a pain in the ass.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Just give them a piece of paper with 20
Mhm.
printed on it.
But I think we should look at maybe some sort of a goal to have the stickers pay for a certain percentage
Mhm.
of the solid waste disposal, so that that's something we can do to justify the cost of the stickers.
Yeah.
Because I know people bitched like hell when it went from $2 to $3 to
Mhm.
$3 to
Well,
$4.
change is hard, you know, we don't like change.
And every time you increase the price a certain amount, you lose a few.
Yeah, yeah, well, I think we did the last time we,
Yeah.
but not for good, cause it's convenient, you know, being in town.
Well, also,
Whatever
when
wants
we
to go.
increase the price, so does the hauler in
Yeah.
town.
Mhm. Yeah, no, they've been going up.
So,
So
can I
Dick,
ask
there's
you
a
quick
question in the back there.
Yeah, Sue,
What's the revenue on the metal?
Oh,
Does that-
God.
Does that offset?
Not a lot, no, I think last year might have been 1,300, 1,400, but we don't pay for the hauling or any of the bin rentals for that. They do that for free, so then, we get 45% of the American Metals Market, of the bin, and they get the rest, so. It's kind of a nice wash on that one, and it, you know, gives
That
us.
would pay for the stickers, the
It
rest of the
doesn't
stickers.
cost us anything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, you mean the cost of the actual
It paid for the cost,
stickers?
but not,
Yeah, it would pay for the actual stickers, yeah. Just about, yeah, roughly. I
Well,
would think.
purchasing the stickers are what, $1,600? I mean, if that's what you're talking about. Is that what
14.
you're talking
Yeah,
about?
14,
14.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought they were 1,600 this year, but whatever, whichever.
Oh, no, I went down.
I mean,
'cause
it's-
We have some.
so can I ask you a question? You
Yeah.
said depending on the quality of, or how clean the recycling is.
Yes.
Changes the price.
Mhm.
How much ability to control that do we realistically have as a town? And the reason I'm asking is from a school board perspective, our new superintendent is looking for community projects. Is this something that kids in school could take on an education project if
That'd be
that's
cool.
something? But I don't know if it would move the needle any, or if it, I mean, it'd be still.
I don't think it would
Service.
enough,
It wouldn't cost anything, the kids would learn something.
yeah, no, that'd be cool. I don't know practicality wise how we'd be able, cause we put it all into the hopper at the transfer station. They'd actually have to like go to the Casella plant and help sort it out on the, cause they dump it out all on the floor.
Right.
And then they load it into a bigger truck and it goes to Rutland.
Yeah. I guess I was thinking more like, if it's something where we need to teach the town
Oh, yeah,
to,
like an educational outreach kind of
yeah,
thing.
providing, they
Yeah.
immediately touch how many houses in town,
Yeah.
just by being,
Well,
A lot-
and we got future recyclers.
A lot
too.
of people don't realize the whole clean recycling thing.
Right.
Yeah,
I didn't at first either.
yeah.
right,
You know, you can't throw a pizza box in there with a drop of sauce on
any,
it.
any
Yeah.
food residue you can't recycle.
But-
I mean, you guys have put it on the listserv, like, more than several times.
Yeah,
Suzanne, I know, has a couple, like, I thought these Amazon things, cause they say recyclable
Yeah.
on them, and she educated me.
Mhm.
I was like, no, you can't actually, I just had no idea. And
Well,
so
yeah.
there's a little, so there's a little bit.
Yeah, and the recycling symbol itself is actually just a
Right.
code for the plastic,
Right.
like what type of plastic it
But
is.
what a
And we
great
don't take all
project for
the, like, you have
kids.
to have certain
One,
numbers.
two,
That's
and
a
five
great
you can
project for
take.
kids,
Um,
it's cool.
And, I mean, if you start throwing something away and your kid's like, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've done that.
Right,
My 6-year-old grandson,
Yeah,
Well, then they
Put
can be
the
sitting
bottles
it
on
at
the
home
wall.
before I can.
Yeah, I'm happy to put my kids.
yeah.
Nice.
One
I'm
of the
making
I
a
like
note,
that.
I'm making a note, and we'll connect Mary
Yeah,
Beth
well,
with you.
cause they
I
do
don't know how
actually,
she's sourcing projects, or whether it's gonna be something that needs to come from the teachers, but
New
Well,
Hampshire
you're gonna run
recycling.
into a problem if you have the school kids involved, because of the, worker safety
Yeah.
rules.
Oh, no, they're not gonna
Because
sort.
of age.
no, no, no.
Yeah,
no,
not
no.
actually at the
No, I'm not
facility, but
talking
like
about
an
that. I'm talking about
educational outreach.
education.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
No.
You,
I
you
used to work in
can't
human
have them
resources.
sorting glass.
You mean I
bottles.
can't have
Stand
them?
stand
I
up.
can get them vests.
There's enough child labor problems in the
God.
world, we're not
School
doing that
kids are
here.
not gonna pick through our garbage for us.
No, they are
Oh,
not,
okay.
but they're gonna get you to pick through your own garbage and make sure it's clean.
My wife already does that with a bullwhip.
That's what we like to
Matt, I
hear.
had a question about, you said that our price on recycling depends on the quality.
Yeah,
of
and the
our-
market, yeah.
And, well, the market too.
Yeah.
Where does our quality sit? I mean, do they say,
Good some months and not as good other
Okay.
months. But
Alright.
we've been, it's a $150 processing fee. And then I think during certain months, we're paying 105,
Mhm.
and then other months, it's like 127. So it's not bad. The market's not really good right now
well,
because of.
right, but I mean, the market's what the market is, but
Yeah.
if we're putting all the black plastic in and all the pizza boxes and all the stuff in, and the Casella people say, just dump it in the ocean.
Oh, God, I
then-
hope not, but you never know.
Then that's something, I think, to Christian's point, that we can do some education and
Yeah.
say, see this? This is black plastic.
Yeah,
Don't.
I think that's a
do it."
great idea, because,
Well,
You
we
know.
tried at one point to have about 5 different bins for the people to do their own sorting in town.
That's-
And what happened is, most of the bins got contaminated to the point that the whole bin, we got whatever was the lowest quality thing in the bin.
Right.
And we were asking people to do more work in their home than the public at large was willing to do. Now, we had a person here that said, well, we don't have that problem at the college. Well, at the college, there are people that you can order around. You can't order around the Happy Lyme household the way you can students at Dartmouth College.
We can't order students at Dartmouth College, trust me.
Yeah, you can't order, they don't order around very well either, but at least they have a little more control over them.
yeah.
I do think it's an opportunity though, and it's something
Yeah,
that,
well,
we can talk offline.
Well, I was gonna say, they also have New Hampshire Recycles, which is NRRA. They have school outreach programs where they get grants and stuff for the educational outreach programs, so
Right,
there's a lot of resources that can go to that.
oh, I'm
so,
right, that part down too.
Yeah,
We still have their bins, the little blue bins from them.
good.
It seems like coming from the point of view of cost in terms of recycling and encouraging people to be clean, and we're doing zero sort, and it's from a bird's eye view, we're doing what we can there. In terms of the cost of hauling and the actual garbage itself, aside from charging $4 a bag, we're not really, I guess we're not really doing anything to try to limit the amount of garbage that comes in. And one thing that comes to my mind is to wonder how many people in town are composting, what what, if anything, the town, the select board could do to encourage more composting by, I mean, I lived in Montgomery County, you could get bins for free,
Yeah.
right? And you would be educated on how to use those bins. Lebanon, for some period of time, had like a little business that would collect compost.
Right.
They
Mhm.
came and collected it
Yeah,
from my
Nordic.
work. I don't know if
Nordic.
they're still doing that or not, but to look into something like that and potentially for people that you know, if you, maybe living on the common,
Yeah.
you're less inclined to compost, and that maybe there's something, and that, in my mind, would be something to, that's something, it's the only area I see where we might have some control over limiting really the amount of garbage that comes in. The downside of increasing the bag fee, as you start to increase it, people are just gonna do, the likelihood, I think, is you're gonna get to a point where you're just gonna shift and you're gonna do pickup from Casella, cause it's, right? Which maybe is good for us, cause we have less weight coming in, but it acts completely counter to the bear ordinance and all sorts of like wildlife issues that the town may have, because people are putting these bins out at 7 o'clock at night, the night before Casella comes. I don't know that that's the driving force behind the bear ordinance, but I think it's at least a contributing factor. So, I don't know, in my mind, encouraging composting, educating people about composting and giving them the equipment that they need and funding that might serve a benefit in the long run. But I
The
can't be
biggest-
100% on that.
The biggest reduction is training people on what they buy. Because you can reduce your trash tremendously by your choice in purchases. And that's where you build up the volume. Is people buy things with big fancy boxes, containers that are not recyclable, and, it's what you buy has a bigger impact on the volume of trash probably than anything else.
Sounds like another great educational
I was
opportunity.
just
Exactly.
gonna say, schools
Yeah,
are for
I mean, it is.
education. Yeah.
Those
At the end of the day,
people are gonna really whip us into line.
No, I
And
think
those
that's
Keurig coffee filters have gotta be horrendous for
Like, then
generating
we'll
it
start
to garbage. All right, anything else for Matt? All right, I guess you're free.
Cool. Well, you guys have a good evening.
Thank you, Matt.
You too,
Doctor says,
Marcy, you wanna give us a quick rundown of your tax collector business?
Of course. Postage has gone up, a little.
It's on page
We
3.
have- Oh, sorry, 3. No,
3, I mean 2.
2, yeah, okay, I'm looking at 2.
Sorry, I was professional.
So postage, and then the big, thing this year was we had a new, computer program. So, when you look at the total numbers down at the bottom of each of the years for '24, it's significantly more than any of the other years, and that's the software. And then Dina, what is I was just looking at the tax software, so the department request for $2,500, is that, their contract for?
Line 54?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 54 or 53, whichever it is.
Is that an
But
annual fee
that's the
for it?
new avatar, yes, that would
Yeah.
be the yearly annual fee.
Annual, okay.
About
Just wanted
that.
to make
It
sure. I
might
thought
be a
that's
little-
what it was.
It might even be a little lower the next time,
Mhm.
because this is the first time and they don't know how many little conversions they have to do.
Because it was like 3,400 the year before.
Correct, that was the MSI, different company.
Ah,
Is that up and running now? Or are you still
Almost.
working with it? Okay.
Almost, we're still working on it. Getting it going. This tax bill will come out produced
On
from
the mill.
Avatar.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's just the tax queue of it. The rest, the assessing part of it is not
Mhm.
integrated yet, but it's the tax part,
Right.
which is very exciting.
It is very exciting. Agree.
It's very intuitive. The program is gonna be really great.
Yes.
The audit fee is going up just because everything is inflated.
The what?
That's me.
Audit,
That's me,
Oh.
yes.
oh, that's you.
that's Dina.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, if you look back in '24, it was 18.7. It depends on what we have for grants.
okay.
mean, the standard.
Gotcha.
The standard one would be 17,000, but if you have a grant, or if you have a grant over a certain amount, if you have additional
All
things,
sorts of weird federal rules.
They have
with
to,
federal
right.
money.
right, it jacks it up.
Isn't it also the total amount of the budget?
Our audit,
Yeah,
not to my knowledge. So,
I think once you go over $1 million, there's a different standard.
Oh, well, the standard, yes, I thought you meant the amount of money in money.
Well,
But GASB comes into the picture, and after a certain amount, you have
right,
many more
steps.
steps of that you have to achieve.
Yeah.
Right.
So we should just cut our budget by a significant amount.
Cut it, and we'll have a less of an audit, but you won't have very good roads. We won't be answering the telephones.
Sue,
Yes. Speaking of grants, last year we voted at town meeting to hire a person to research and do grants applications. What's happened to that?
Well, it's coming along slowly. We've had, anyways, we don't have anybody yet. We're trying to integrate that job in with our office part-time and the town clerk's office part-time. So we've been working on coming up with all the job responsibilities. It was gonna start at a 6-month interval anyways, so we're a little behind the game on that one, but we'll get there.
well, I think that's true of almost anything when you go out to hire somebody, you can't find them now.
Correct.
Well, there
But
are,
we need a good job description before we go hiring somebody.
Yeah.
You can't hire somebody and then have a job description.
do we use electronic methods like Indeed and other stuff to search?
Oh, to search for people, well, we usually use the municipal one, and, you know, I don't know what else we'll put it out on, but,
Okay.
So, and basically you're looking for somebody to search for and write grants?
no. Oh, no, this is a position that will be a bookkeeping position, and it will be a person that's going to work in the town clerk also. They'll do this, that, and whatever around the office. They will be tracking all the grants, whether it's for the fire department or for us or for roads or whatever it is. Yes, it wouldn't hurt for somebody to look for grants, but whenever you have a grant, there's a lot of time, as you probably know, that goes into
Yeah,
Is
just
it-
tracking it is craziness.
Is still the plan for them to help the fire department with writing up reports and stuff?
No, because you increased the fire administration last year from
Okay.
2,500 to 7,500.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
those people are being reimbursed for the time
Okay,
to do the call runs
yeah,
and
so it's
all
no
that
longer
stuff in the software.
that person that's gonna do that.
That's my understanding.
Well, I think you'll see
That's
some
how we
of it
understand it.
with the town clerk's office, because we don't have the deputy town clerks now, because you can't find anybody.
Well, this will help us, I think, because it will end up being a full-time job. Once you add the 20 hours that will happen in the select board office to the 16 that will happen in the town clerks, it's a full-time job. And the money for the benefits is already in the budget. We're not asking for more. We're not creating a new position, it's already been approved last year.
I mean, because that is an issue with the town clerk, she doesn't have any help.
Well, she doesn't have anybody on a regular basis right now since the last girl has left, which has not been that long, but yeah, if she's sick, we're in trouble. Nobody else can register vehicles. So,
Okay. All right. Now, where
so
are
anything else on Marcy's?
we? Marcy, are you semi-happy?
I'm very happy. I told Emily next Thursday, she's having evening hours, I'll learn how to do some of her stuff, so I'll help her in all my spare time.
Well, you see, you got away early because you dropped the cost of the software. All right, we got 20 minutes before, at least before Judy will be available. And what Dina proposed to fill the time productively is to start going down the Dina general budget.
What about the conservation?
What was
oh,
that?
yeah, well, you can,
Yeah.
you can.
Oh, we have somebody, nobody here from
You can-
conservation,
you
but
can-
it's usually pretty quick and
You
easy.
can at least review it, but
Sue is there from
Oh, you're
conservation.
conservation now?
Yes,
You
I'm
replaced
vice
Blake?
chair.
No.
No, Blake is,
I know, I sat next to him over at Hitchcock, waiting to see the doctor a few weeks ago.
Hidden violation
Okay.
going on here, as if you don't
It
care
can't be
about
that
it,
if it's not
okay?
the provided means, so we're good.
Okay, so that's on page 9. Or your cheat sheet there, right? It's not changing a lot.
All right, I thought we had a little short thing for
You do
conservation
somewhere.
somewhere. And it was 2108, now it's 2223.
Right,
Seems reasonable.
Where are you, Dick?
it's postage,
Bottom of
you're on
that.
page 9.
Postage,
Page 9. Postage went up, education went up, and that's it.
And it's all relatively small, but the big potential expense that seems to be going on is the milfoil treatment of
Right.
Post Pond, and where do we sit on that?
Where do we sit?
Or stand or
Well,
float?
Float, sink, well, every year, you gotta have it. We're very fortunate to have a group of volunteers who do a lot of hand picking and work really hard at that. We had a pretty large treatment this year. I haven't gotten anything for this coming budget yet. I know there is. They asked if we, were gonna be interested in a grant. So we kind of see, they do their inspection. I haven't gotten the yearly report yet, but it should be coming around pretty soon.
That shows up as a special warrant article then, doesn't it?
Oh, it will, yes, yeah. And then it depends, we never know whether it's a 40-60 grant or a 70-30 or a 50-50 or what it is until they see how much money they have. But they also, not this last year, but the year before that, they treated much less because the hand picking had been so successful. So, and I think that I don't know that the Conservation Commission has decided yet, but Blake and I have had a conversation about starting a fund for milfoil in the conservation budget where people can donate to if they wish to. So that would sort of help foot the bill so the Conservation Commission doesn't have to take it out of its account every year.
So, Sue, or Dina, I'm not exactly sure where the money comes for that treatment, that chemical treatment.
It comes from the state of New Hampshire. I didn't bring in my
I mean,
town
they
report.
put half of it in?
But this year, I think it was a 50-50, I'd have to look back and see, but they, they foot the bill for half of it. And then, we have an account that the money rolls over, what doesn't get spent, because a lot of times they don't use all the money.
Is that
So-
a capital reserve fund, or is
No,
that-
it's held by the treasurer,
Okay.
it's a revenue fund. So it sits there, and then whatever's in that gets applied to what is the town's 50%. And whatever's left over,
Mhm.
the Conservation Commission pitches in. So between the three,
And where does the conservation?
from the conservation fund, not from their, not
From
from
the, from the
this.
CRF,
Right,
okay,
they
thanks.
don't, well, it's not a capital reserve fund, they have their own account.
Conservation fund is a special fund.
The
It's
Conservation
not a
Commission,
reserve fund per se.
right,
Okay,
because it's a commission,
yep.
it can hold its own money, so it
And
has.
the recreation fund is the same
And
way.
the Recreation Commission is exactly the same way, that's right. So that's where it comes from.
And they have separate statutes that govern their operation.
All right.
Now, one thing with the political climate the way it is, I wouldn't count on getting a big chunk of money from DES for milfoil.
Probably not, we don't know, haven't heard yet. We should hear soon, but.
I think that's maybe an area that is vulnerable, shall we say, politically.
Could be.
The Free Stater as chairman of the House, I mean, why would we think that?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, Sue? Just try to keep us honest?
I'm here to work for the Conservation Commission. And interested in the town budget.
Well, you used to sit at this table for a while. So we've got, waiting for the library to come in and,
Yeah, all right, well, let's just look at, does everybody wanna look at the executive part of the budget?
why don't we start,
What's
because
down
that's a
to-
big one. Because we've got some people coming in next week that haven't
Right, on
come in, that
page
were
one.
scheduled earlier,
Right.
so.
And they'll take longer, I think, so. Nothing big has changed in, or is going to change in the executive, budget, other than the phone lines. Across the whole town, all the phone lines are gonna go crazy. Again, we're in the midst of dealing with, Consolidated to see what we can come up with. We also are, I have somebody looking into a couple other options.
Well, one option I would throw out while you're looking at it is going on the web with web-based phone systems.
That is one.
Now that we have decent broadband like here, and then you're not paying, you know, for nationwide toll-free calling or et cetera.
Right.
And getting away from the old copper landlines.
Yeah, and we have a municipal rep. We also are dealing with, it starts with an F, a new company. Do you remember?
Fidium.
Fidium, something like that.
Fidium fiber
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Video,
So I think they're gonna have some other options.
Well, Fidium, you know, does, if you get a fiber line from
Well,
Consolidated, it's Fidium.
okay. I was gonna say, we always had a deal with Consolidated because our internet, our fiber was with them. But then when Lyme Fiber came along, it was decided that we should go to Lyme Fiber, so we lost our deal with Consolidated. So
And-
when the contract ended, it was like a 2 or 3 year contract, when that ended, everything's shooting up now, so.
Well, I think Fidium, I think if you go to Consolidated today, you end up with Fidium, because Fidium provides the fiber.
I know, that's
Maintenance.
who called me, yes,
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you there, but
Yeah.
there are other options. Lyme Fiber has an option
Yeah.
for phone, there's, you know,
Yeah.
there's different things that people are looking at, different people are looking at, and so we'll see.
I'm
Once we-
glad you said that
Once we
name.
gather
because-
all the
Because
info.
I'm mildly conflicted
Afraid
there,
I was
but
gonna leave it out.
I'm happy to hear you
Yeah.
thinking about that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well, it's not me, it's a selectman, but still, yes, all the options.
I think the big payback is the reduction of long distance charges when you go on the web.
Right. So anyway, so yeah, that's the big schmick,
We have a question in the back.
Oh. Yeah, Sue?
Me, yeah.
She has a question.
About the web, the
Yeah.
town webpage,
Yeah, what about it?
what, it's not very user-friendly.
No, you know what, it's very interesting, we've done a lot of research on web pages lately. And there's not a lot of them that are user-friendly. It really, it depends on what you're looking, and it depends on you as a computer person. It's really interesting. Jordan can look at one, and she thinks it's great. I get on it and I go, where do you find that, you know, and it's really interesting. But we are looking at that too, and Jordan's been talking with a company, Town Cloud. Yeah. So we'll be looking at that. I don't know what we'll end up with. We haven't talked to the selectmen yet about a choice. But it's interesting, and there's so many different ones out there now too.
Yeah,
Well, there are a lot of one-man, at one point, there were a lot of one-man shops
Yeah.
that didn't have ongoing support for you. And you would get things like, you know, I know a person after that great Amazon Web Services crash Sunday night, their email isn't back yet.
Well, I'll tell
So
you.
there's danger when you go into one of those little one-man shops when
One of
something
the
like
big,
that
well,
happens.
one of the big things we're looking at is the, support.
Yeah.
Because the one that we're with now is not really time sensitive, you know, you
This
have
one's
to-
over in
you have
Portland
to-
that we're with
You have
now,
to get,
isn't
I don't even know where it is out of, but you have to get in a queue and, you know, sometimes you can wait more than a day or two. And when you have a problem with your website, you wanna fix it right away, you don't wanna wait 2 days.
Do you remember who the
A lot-
vendor is, Nina?
What is it, Jordan?
Sorry?
Who we have now?
Civic Plus.
Civic Plus,
Okay.
right. Well, wait, the one other important thing is, sorry Stu, but one sec. Civic Plus is changing their whole platform. So, like, if you go to Hanover's website, it's Civic Plus, but it's different than ours. But we're gonna be at the same rate next year, but then it's gonna jump up more than double, or just about double. So we're gonna be over $5,000 for this website that nobody seems to like.
Right.
Have you considered, I mean, this town is full of computer experts and web designers and everything else. This town has a ton of talent available. Have you considered trying to tap into that for free? I'm sure there are people out there who would volunteer.
The problem is we can't have a separate website developed by somebody. We need to have a municipal website, we need to have, you know, there's things that,
I'm
Things
not,
that we
I don't
need.
think that's what Sue's suggesting.
no.
I think, you know, you guys are really busy. There's a flock of very computer knowledgeable, very communication knowledgeable people in town who might be willing to join an ad hoc committee, do some things like that. That might, you know, and I think,
See me wiggling.
I think you're asking the wrong question, Rich.
okay,
Yeah, we're not, that's not the issue. We need a web-page design firm and support.
right,
yes.
They'll take care of everything. We don't need,
Oh, no, I'm not suggesting
and
that.
Jordan is the one that has to keep it up, so for me,
Right.
you know, I want Jordan to be able to research, find what she needs, work with David, find what he needs, you know, all that stuff.
Update the community list, get the minutes posted, things like that.
Yeah, I wager there are computer experts that would do this kind of consulting.
that's
Because-
not what we need.
That's not what, the problem is,
That makes it too big, too time consuming.
those individual consultants, the people that started with those, rather than going with a company
Oh,
that provides the full support services.
Dick, you're misunderstanding, I guess I'm not saying what, let me say
The
it
data
again.
entry clerk is not the issue. The issue, and that's not what we're paying for here. We're paying for the hosting and web design and maintenance. And the problem is the individuals, these bright computer people online, are absolutely useless for maintenance.
So I would dispute that fact,
Well-
but more to the point, there are a lot of computer systems out there, there's Civic Plus. I just saw another outfit that was looking at, making interesting sites.
Yes,
To talk to Jordan, to talk to you, to talk to David Robbins and say, what do you need? Let us do some of the work of winnowing this out. It's still a town decision to say what website design system to choose, whether to go with the new revised Civic Plus or whatever. But I haven't heard that this whole project is ongoing. And I guess the question
well,
Sue was asking is,
Jordan's been
Do you
working on
need
it for
help?
quite some time.
could
No, I
you
think
use
we're all
help
set,
with
but
people from town?
it's up to the
Right,
board,
Phil?
I guess.
Okay.
I've done this for my own practice. My wife was head of computing at Antioch. The more you come in with a pre-design of what you want the thing to accomplish, and what sort of things you want people to be able to find, and what things you want people to be able to see instantly, you're cutting the development cost of that company down tremendously. I mean, it's like writing an RFP. When you go in and you say, these are the 7 things we want people to be able to get instantly on the landing page, and this is how we'd like the departments to be dealt with. You're halfway home and you're saving money. That's all I'll say about that.
Great.
Do you
Thanks.
have a specification, Dina, already?
For a company, you
No,
mean, or
no, for the webpage.
For, well, Jordan, yes. I mean, we didn't write an RFP, but
But you have
She has.
documentation about what the thing needs to do and so
Yes.
forth, which, speaking to Phil's.
yes, we do.
Okay.
And I think we're far enough along now, so I don't suspect we're gonna.
Right, this is
Go
not,
jumping
this
into
is old
something else.
technology by now, this is not
Mhm.
cutting edge.
The one thing that is happening with a lot of these is, there were a lot of small companies that have gone under. And if you go into the healthcare, you know, our good old Madison, Wisconsin company is really dominating. And the people that went with other companies are finding everybody else in the medical field above a certain size is going with Epic. And
for better
the
or
other
worse.
people are going under, and there's one lady out in Madison that's made a fortune.
Okay, so let's move on. So
And I think the same thing's happening with municipal websites.
Yes. There's a bazillion of them out there. Okay, so, and then, the supply line, of course, got up a little bit because we're already almost all spent out this year and things are just getting more expensive. Postage is up a little bit.
Can I put out a little
Other than
thing
that.
right now? How are we having training? Because that issue came up with the budget committee with the cost of a seminar. Which occasionally we use things like that. At one point, we had things for, like, if the Conservation Commission wanted to send somebody to some seminar somewhere, rather than trying to have each department have $100 a year and go 3 years with spending nothing and then the next year needing 250. Is there a thought process of having a training line that covers all the boards and committees rather than having each one try to have their own? Which
No.
isn't enough for somebody to drive down to Manchester and back.
No, we've never done that. The meeting line number 12 has been for Jordan, myself. If somebody happens to come along and they're out of money and they need one, or there's something they have to do, you know, I try to find money in my budget, but we don't plan extra for that. We also have a lot of our training that we used to have to pay for. Once COVID hit, everything's gone Zoom. There's a lot of our meetings, they're both. So
Yeah,
you can
but
choose
remember
to
those
drive
Zoom
to them, or you can choose to Zoom.
Yeah, a lot of those Zoom seminars now are charging you.
Some, New Hampshire Municipal generally don't,
Yeah.
or if they do, it's a lower fee.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I know,
it's
that's
not
why-
unusual to
that's
pay
why we-
$150 for a Zoom seminar.
If there's different departments or different committees that have things they want to go to, then they should think about that and give me a figure and we'll up the budget.
And I just bring that up because
Yeah.
that did come up with budget committee.
Mhm. Yep,
The seminar was more than our annual budget that we hadn't spent for so
Right.
many years.
yeah, alright, so there's that.
Can you speak to the wages and benefits, why they're in one section in 24 and then sort of move up to 25, what's the difference?
Oh, that's because, we had, the town administrator and the, select board, and assessing clerk separate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have that other part-time person coming, so we just lumped them all together into one. So that's the difference. In 6 and 7 are the wages and the benefits for the 2.5 people. And down here in 17, 18, 19, and 20, they're all separated out.
And those are 2 people in 17 through 20, or is that,
It's 2 separate people, yes.
okay,
It's
It
the
was
same.
even more
It's the same
complicated.
amount of people,
same amount of people.
but a halftime, 20 hours are added in
Okay.
to the top lines.
And we used to have the assessing clerk listed under assessing.
And that, oh, that's, yeah, that hasn't been like that for a long time. That's been at least 6 or 8 years, but on line 7, it's just 2 full-time employees.
Okay.
Because that part-time
Doesn't have
employee
benefits.
here,
Doesn't go-
over
That's
in-
6 and 7
over,
are
over.
2 full-time. Correct?
6 is 2.5 people, 2 full-time, 1 half, and 7 is 2 full-time. And then the other part of that half-time person's hours is in the town clerk,
Okay,
so the benefits are over there.
okay. That's great, thank you.
Thank you.
And what's the history with the contingency? Was there contingency held in the,
There used to be a contingency fund, we don't do it anymore, 0. That, yeah, that 17,000 was for a piece of equipment. That was at the last, there was some money in the budget and something went wrong with the chipper and they bought a new one.
Is our chart of accounts dictated by
Mhm.
DNR?
Yeah, they have, Gatsby, they have specific numbers you have to use.
I see. You can't have more accounts than they
Oh, I
report,
can have more,
but you can't have less.
but I have to have certain ones in, right.
And they have to be a certain
Certain
department.
numbers for telephone, like 341, certain, they're specific about.
Even though telephone is split among multiple departments, how do you allocate?
It's not, it's in each department,
That's what I mean, but, so,
and then the first 4 numbers are different. For each department, it's 01, and then there's the numbers in the middle that are different for each department.
okay, so you're doing departmental accounting,
Right.
okay.
DRA on the web has an accounting manual that we have to follow. It does not follow general accounting
Well, it's-
rules.
yes, we do.
It does or does not?
Does not.
And it's not, yeah, anyways, that's a whole different
And
discussion.
we see this in the trust funds with the MS9s that, thank God, Bar Harbor takes care of for us. Because they would make you sugar to use a
But,
technical phrase.
yeah,
So are you required by DRA to split the telephone bill among each department?
I would say that would be frowned upon, but I could ask the auditor.
I mean, I was just bringing
You
up the
don't
same
lump
thing.
them all together, they don't like you to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was hinting at with training.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, if you have committees, that's one thing, but departments are not shared. I don't share my training line with them.
I understand.
But a committee, because committees don't generally have lines in the budget committee happens to have one, but, you know.
So this line number 9 is telephone, is for the whole, all of the departments, is that what you're saying?
No, this line number 9 is for the select board office telephones and the planning and zoning, anybody in our office. Then
Town clerk has a line.
has their own, police has their own.
Yeah, town clerk.
It's all
telephone,
spread within their
47.
budget.
Right, and they have separate phone numbers, so you
Mhm.
obviously get a separate bill, or the bill
Right.
gets itemized separately, so.
You get a separate bill, it's great, it's great.
yeah.
We mail them all out separately, because if you do, then one account gets credited for all of them. It's really bad, yeah, so anyways,
And don't try to figure out
it's crazy.
DRA's accounting.
And so, I don't know if you wanna move on to the financial part, because
Well,
She's not
Judy
here
is
yet.
here.
Yeah,
Judy's not here yet.
Dina, I had a question. I know you set the tax rate
Mhm.
last Friday.
Right.
Was delighted that it was not as big as I feared, and the increase was not as big as I feared it was going to be.
Since everybody can find out that realize that he knows what the tax rate is, it's 28.44.
Which is a 3.4% increase, I think.
It was a negative increase for the municipal one, and then a 4 point something for the school.
But
But
it
an
all,
overall 3.4.
yes, right.
Yeah.
And I went thank you for paying for this workshop, by the way, that I went to, this budget workshop. Learned more about the unassigned fund balance, and, where does that stand, and how, and did we use any of that for the?
No, we used none of it. The unassigned fund balance is at $681,000 some odd dollars right now,
Okay, yeah,
and we used none of it.
It's a pretty low percentage for us, this town.
It's just it's just 5% for this town, you mean for you.
My standard of that, which I got lost the load on.
I know Dick and I used to fight about that all the time, too. You guys weren't part of that, but I used to say, it's not a savings account, we need to use it. We don't wanna have it sitting there. We don't need $2 million.
Did it used to be 2 million?
Pretty close a few times.
At one point, we had the highest percentage, because it's a percentage, the way they look at it, the DRA is, it's the percentage of your combined tax effort. So you have your county, your school, your state school, and your town, and you add those together. And then what percentage, because the town account's the only one that can have an unassigned
Right.
fund balance. And depending on who you talk to, it should be a certain percentage of that combined total. And at one point, we had the highest percentage of any municipality in the state of New Hampshire.
Well, the DRA has standards that you
And-
have to meet within 5 and 16. And if you're
Well, they used
not,
they used, what are they now, 7 to 15?
No, it's 5 to 16 still, as far as I know.
It's 5 to 16?
I think so,
Anyway, we were up in the 20s at one point.
yeah.
And the beauty of that is, we did have a couple of times where you had to hit it up for big bucks, like a bridge getting worked off, and then bang, all of a sudden you need $2 million to replace a bridge. And you have a choice, either a special tax assessment in a special town meeting, or take it out of your undesignated fund balance.
Okay,
And
Judy's
we
here.
had one time, we had to go to court to let them use the unfunded,
Judy's here.
pay for something.
Hi, Dick.
Hey, oh, you snuck in on me.
Judy's, I know,
All right.
I didn't get enough of my budget done. Now it's gonna take up more time next week, sorry, guys.
All right.
Page 8, you want,
Dave, I said,
Yes, thanks.
line 303,
Now.
she starts on.
Before Judy gets going, I just wanna say something about the library budget. The library budget is covered by a totally different statute than anything else. And it basically, the library trustees have the equivalent of the Board of Selectmen with their budget, basically. It's not quite that way,
Not quite, but
but
almost.
it's fairly close for looking at it that way. The budget committee does have the authority to adjust the library budget. The selectmen do not. So,
As a bottom line.
it's the bottom line issue. It's getting a little iffy now with trying to replace the state librarian with a couple of the people on the governor's council.
Yes, it
But
is.
but at any rate,
We won't get me started on that.
no. But I think it's important to know that Judy will prepare a budget that will be looked at. Normally, she prepares what the trustees agree to. And that basically will be what will come to us to either adjust or recommend to the town without going through the selectmen. So that's the way we've
No,
handled
it
it in
comes
the
to the
past.
selectmen, and the selectmen talk about it. They usually meet with Judy and talk about it, so.
But generally, certain things like the benefits and
Right.
cost of health insurance, and some of those things come from the selectmen.
Right, those things are set because we are fortunate that the town manages our payroll.
Let me say something here too. I am a library trustee. My position on this is going to be that I will speak about what I think about the developed budget, but when it comes to voting, I will not vote. I don't think it's
That's
appropriate for me.
that's your choice.
Yeah, just, I don't think it's appropriate for me to vote on something as a supervisor that I've developed.
Because at least your position here isn't as a designated ex officio like the selectmen.
Right.
Alright,
Okay.
Are we all gonna be working on the same thing, which is a 234, 56.
That sounds right. That's with our recent changes, Dina? Yeah.
And I like everybody to be on the same page.
Wait, I
No,
don't think
I
so.
didn't.
This isn't,
No, I
yeah.
It's a
did,
single page.
I put your budget in.
Yeah,
There's
this
two
is,
things.
this is a little bit different than what we have, and it's all the benefits line.
It's
Is,
a
I made a wild guess on the benefits just for,
Wag.
yeah, and so my guess was a little high, at 51,233, and the actual number is 49,272.
Right.
And as a reminder, that's
little
not
more.
all health insurance, of course, that covers retirement and disability and social security and all those things, all added together.
Normally, at this point, we haven't looked at benefits, but we do look at number of people.
Right, so we have the same number of people, it's the same hours budgeted, that is, roughly, 22 for, the assistant library director position and 18 for the clerk. If you look at, I hope I'm not jumping in a funny way, it's not quite what I was gonna start with, but since Dick mentioned it, let's just talk about salaries for a second. If you look at the amount spent on the, let's see, line 307, you'll see that there's quite a bit there left to spend. The current employee that we have in that position is not working at the full number of hours that I budgeted for this year. But it is my hope that that will change, either with that employee or by possibly adding another 10-hour-a-week employee. And so that may mean another person, but it's not a position that would have any impact on benefits costs or anything like that.
They're both under the 35 hours a week.
Yeah, it's, yes. So those are the changes there. At the time that I prepared the budget, I was looking at the COLA, and it looked like it was gonna be around 2.9%, and I think that's what you all were working with as well. So I plugged those into the salaries. It's my personnel committee that determines my salary, and I determine the staff's salaries. They may remain right there, but, again, looking at the big picture, I was trying very hard to bring my budget in under 2.9%. I managed to do that with my guesstimate of the benefits. Now I have a little bit of wiggle room because it takes us down to a 2.02% increase. And to my mind, I have a little wiggle room. I'm waiting to hear from the personnel committee and another library trustees meeting in November where we'll take this working draft and finalize it. So I'll resubmit, but I don't expect any major changes, and it is my goal to try to stay under that 2.9%. There are not a lot of changes in the regular line items. Nothing really drastic has changed. There are a couple of increases in lines due to just prices going up, inflation, whatever you wanna call it. We've been so lucky to have the Energy Committee work with us to add the solar panels at the end of 2024. We haven't paid a penny in electricity all year, even with the air conditioners in this summer. That's been amazing, and now part two is about to start where they're helping us with the monies that were left over from the solar project to install some mini splits, heat exchange units, heat pumps, so many different, the vocabulary of this thing is, there are gonna be 3 that are going into the main level of the library. It's being done by ARC, some of you may already know this, and we don't have a specific schedule for when it's going to happen, but we had thought that it might go in this late fall. If we start to bump up against the holidays, then I'm gonna say, into 2026. So to cover that, I just reduced our heat line by a small amount. It's still at $4,500. If we're lucky, this will make a big difference in our oil consumption.
Yeah, but you'll bump up your electricity consumption.
But it might, but
It does.
Yes, I'm sure it does, but it also, we're running a really, large credit every month, so, that roof is just soaking in the sun, so.
I just know when I switched to heat pumps,
You saw that change.
I shifted from the propane expense to an increase in electric, and the increase in electric was less than the decrease in propane.
Right, yeah. Well, I guess, it remains to be seen. We're not doing anything with the heat exchange system in the lower level because it's a basement essentially and it stays cool. Our biggest concern down there is keeping the humidity down low. But we hope to be able to maintain a better consistent temperature upstairs than we have been able to because it's all set up as one zone, but it's the old building and the new building, and some places are insulated and some places aren't, so it's been a sort of a game all these years to try to heat it evenly and without using too much oil. So at any rate, that $4,500 is there. It may end up going toward electricity, as Dick says, but it's in the heat line right now, and $250 is sitting in the electricity line.
To clarify, $3,500.
Oh, is it 35? Sorry,
Sorry.
I was doing that from memory.
No, you're good.
Yeah, okay,
Right,
thank you,
yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Who do you buy the electricity from now, if you did buy it?
well, it was Eversource.
Yeah. Do you get $1 for dollar for what you generate for what you pay?
Oh, no.
I don't think so, I don't know how the deal
Like
works
the credit,
exactly.
you get it,
You
it's
get
not, you
credits.
get at the end of the year, you have,
No, not talking about that.
I
I'm
see.
talking about the dollar you pay for buying electricity versus what you get for selling electricity.
I think they give you about 2/3 of what you would, they give you back 2/3 of what you would pay to buy it from them. So if you're buying at, easy numbers, 12
I'm
cents.
asking Judy.
I'm not sure, I can look into that. If that's generally the case, then I'm sure Rich is right, but it seems like it would have caught up with us by now, especially after the summer, and it hasn't, so we're still running quite a credit, so, I will look into it,
No, it's just about, different companies do it differently.
yeah.
And the other thing that Eversource is changing is their fee for sending you a bill.
Mm.
Their flat rate, just for being, the privilege of being a customer,
Yeah.
they've gotten PUC permission to increase that up to like $40 a month, even if you buy no electricity.
That's
the
a connect to the
co-ops, the
grid.
co-ops know better,
That's the
I
connection.
know,
I know
so
that,
they-
but
Mm.
they're,
it's a lot.
Well,
Yeah, well, they're I think what you have to consider is with so many people moving to solar, and we shouldn't have
Right.
a violin fest for the electric utilities, but they do need to maintain the grid,
Right.
right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so
but they
that's,
charge you separately for that already. There's a delivery charge.
I see,
There's a delivery charge, there's an electricity charge, and there's the privilege of being a member, which for the co-op is around $30-something a month now.
and so do they justify that with salaries and
They
benefits
don't
paid to
justify it,
employees?
they just say, you wanna buy out, you wanna be our customer, this
Yeah.
is what we do.
I think the co-op does run differently by virtue of the fact that it's a cooperative, but
Well, they're
in
not-
terms of
They
fees, I don't know
don't
that
have
it's
to,
the same
they don't
fees.
have to answer to PUC is the basic
Yeah.
issue,
Yeah.
because it's, well, the members own the company.
right.
But I was just curious, what if Eversource did it differently than the co-op, and it sounds like it doesn't.
Well, I don't know, I'll look into it and I'll let you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's an issue with filling.
Well, you can't change it anyway, Judy, so.
No,
it's okay.
but I realize that I'm a little bit uninformed about it because I've just been so happy not to have to pay the bills. I didn't know
Well, that will be true up until about December,
It's
and
been,
then it will
it's
change
been,
the other way, December, January, February, then it'll go back in your favor, starting in
I'll
March
let you know.
and
And
April.
you'll have a few small ones here and there.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. It's been 11 months without a,
There's a lot of
She has
political
a ban from
controversy
the
on the
summer,
way.
and that's how it works
electricity
in
is
my
going.
house,
Oh,
I
no,
don't,
no,
like I,
the credit rolls
know.
forward, I understand that, but it's not, never mind.
okay.
We'll
About
get the history and
curiosity.
then we'll know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dick, were you saying something?
The Public Utilities Commissioner is vacant for the same reason the library director is.
Oh, yeah.
Vacant.
an appointed position.
Yeah, those two appointees.
Yeah.
Governor's
How
council.
much does the town pay for electricity? They have so,
For this whole building, I think we paid
are you on
800.
Eversource too? Yeah.
Yeah, we paid, where is it? I just looked it up, it's like 823. But we also get checks, cash. I'd have to look and see how much that is. Quarterly,
Oh,
quarterly
quarterly.
payments for what they sell of what we don't use.
is that Eversource?
Yeah.
But you don't get a check?
Huh.
I think you better
Yeah,
get
you're
your
getting-
Maybe
machine and
I'm,
figure out
maybe
what's
I'm
going on.
getting a check.
Check, and there's no way it can go into our coffers,
It
so
would be
You're
interesting to look
welcome.
at that, because that might be how, like, I think you do get a choice, right? Because there's gonna be a market rate for selling that
Right.
electricity back
Right.
versus banking it and keep it, right? And, you know, and you're kind of hedging your bets a little bit, but
Well,
you
that-
may be banking
Well, you
it,
could
and
be
you may
banking
be
and then
set
right.
to sell it back, and,
That's a
Mark,
good design.
Mark Bollinger and Jim Nurse set it up originally with them.
Well, you
So
have to watch it because the electric companies and the Public Utilities Commission are going around in circles right now politically.
well, who is it?
So things are gonna
The
change.
entire state of New Hampshire's going around in
Yeah.
circles politically.
That's true.
I mean, we don't have a federal government anymore, as far
This
as,
is
as far
what
as I
I'm
can
talking
tell.
about. I'm talking about Concord's Public
It'll-
Utilities Commission.
It'll all come around here pretty soon.
It all
So-
flows
There
around.
it is.
I
Move to
mean,
Canada?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Everybody's
the tax
complaining
rate.
prices are going up too fast.
Is there anything else
They
that I
are.
can answer for you? Any lines where you see changes that you're curious about, or?
How are we doing blisters for books now?
How are we doing it?
Is that all through the Friends account, both in and out?
No, it
or
goes into the trustees account.
Or
by-
the trustees account?
Yeah, which was a, warrant article that went through several years ago to create.
Yeah, all right,
that.
so it doesn't go through Dina's shop?
Nope,
Uh-huh.
no, just through the trustees' private accounts. I thought you were asking how the fundraiser was going.
Well, I was gonna
And the
ask
question
that.
is, how successful is it?
I was gonna
A
ask
little
you that.
slow right now, a little slow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not so sure we're gonna, meet
Well,
our
you-
recent years.
Oh,
You
okay.
had,
What
you
was
also
your
had a
goal, and
big,
how short are you?
big expense on the building recently.
Well, that money
That's
stays
separate.
completely
No.
separate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and that
Was
was
paid for by the Friends, if I'm not mistaken.
Friends and the trustees,
Yeah.
yeah. It looks like right now, I haven't totaled everything up yet, I've been doing the electronic payments, but it looks like we're somewhere around 3,000. And the past, since the year after COVID, we've raised anywhere between 7,500 and 12,000. So
More than
it's-
a little short.
Yeah, more than a little short, yeah, a little different, but
Wow.
they have we ask for all of the pledges to be in by November 3rd, so there's a little bit of time there, but, yeah.
So all of the pledges aren't in?
No, they dribble in. They even come in the spring when people are doing their taxes and they suddenly discover on their desk that there's the blisters form is still there. So,
Huh.
it dribbles in, but,
Wow, that's a huge difference though. Wow.
yeah, it is. And prior to COVID, we had been really suffering, and it had been dropping every year, and the lowest it had been, I think, was 3,500. Whereas an average year prior, like when I first started and when my kids were little, was somewhere around 6,000 or 7,000, which of course is different. 6,000 or 7,000 doesn't go anywhere near as far. But, so we had this kind of like optimistic period after COVID where people were very generous, and then I think that the attention is not there so much. So we'll see. We'll
Well-
see. It remains, for good or bad, it remains the sole source of monies for the children's collection. Everything that's in this budget covers the general or adult collection.
The reason I bring it up is I think it's important to note that the taxpayer is subsidized by the trustees and the fundraising activities. so that the taxes do not pay the total cost of operating the library.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't,
And it's important to get, that this only represents a part of the library costs
Mhm.
when we view it. And the issue that can come up is whether it should be paid for by tax money or by the trustees fundraising and the other accounts. And that does come up at sometimes as.
It does come up sometimes, but that takes you back to RSA 202A that
Yeah.
says that the
Yeah.
town bears that responsibility for supporting.
Some
the
of us
library.
have been around to go through those wars.
Yeah. I think one of the things that remains, knock on wood, really wonderful in the New Hampshire statutes is that they recognized early on that having a public library in every community contributed to the well-being overall of that community, and whether it was intellectually or socially or whatever, and so we're protected in this special way. And I think that most people, regardless of their political, points of view, see that as a plus, and, don't wanna mess with it, but, that things are less predictable these days, so. And just to finish that up, Dick, the trustees are obligated by law to report in the town report every year what our spending has been, what our income has been, so you can see that there. And one thing that you don't necessarily see, because they're a separate 501c3 nonprofit, is what the Friends spend for us, and that's somewhere in the vicinity of $15,000 every year, so that's a chunk,
That's a big chunk of
Yeah.
it, that's
Yeah.
5% of your budget.
Exactly, yeah, I was gonna say that. So, we really, really appreciate what they do for us and what the donors, give on those smaller things. We're in a position, I will share, that we're in a position of really, looking at the building and what its future is. We love the library building. It is spacious in many ways. Reading habits are changing, but we still find ourselves sort of getting overcrowded to the point where we don't have a lot of the public space we wish we had to have larger events. And yes, there are larger spaces in town to have events like that, but if we want to continue to make the library a destination and a place where people realize that they can come for a variety of reasons and support and all of that, we want to be able to do that. And so we just finished, the trustees and I just finished the strategic plan in the past year, and we're just initiating subcommittees looking at various parts of this, and one of the sort of goals in the strategic plan is to look at what those needs might be going forward and how we might raise that money. And we certainly have discussed the possibility of a warrant article versus fundraising, either or both, what that means to the community. And, I lost my train of thought there. Warrant article, fundraising, shoot, there was a good point there coming right behind me. Yeah, I know, but I think that it's something that's long past due looking at. We have been, I know what I was going to say, is that, we had been operating for decades on this nest egg for major building improvements and repairs. We have been relying on this nest egg that had been left over from the 1980 fundraising to put on the addition. And it's down to about $15,000 now, and that's all we have is a nest egg. And we have a fairly new boiler, we have a fairly new roof, we've got this wonderful work from the Energy Committee on our behalf, but that's not really enough money. We can't access the capital funds, what are they called, capital something funds?
Capital reserve funds.
Capital reserve funds in the same way that other departments can, and so we're just looking at what that means, and fundraising for a nest egg isn't all that easy to do. So we're trying to figure that out. There's a lot of questions to be answered, and we hope to get feedback from the public as well.
Well,
So-
you do have the problem in terms of any expansion, you don't have the property.
No, I'm thinking, 3 or 4 stories up.
Going vertical rather than, because you can't go horizontal there because your property lines are
Oh,
limited.
then we have nothing, it's a postage stamp, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know what the answer is, and it could just be interior reconfiguration.
Yeah, you may not have the structural capability to go vertical.
No, that for a little while, for, a few minutes, that seemed like something to explore.
And then you'd
but-
run into the elevator issue and everything else when you go
Yeah,
vertical.
well, we already have an elevator, but yeah,
Make 2 points. One is about the building, which has a septic system that is so antiquated that virtually nobody knows how to work on them anymore.
oh, well, yeah, nobody will work on it, yeah.
And it sits within the actual structure of the library in the basement.
Yeah.
At some point, this
We
will
don't
be
wanna
an
know.
issue.
Yeah.
This will be- When the rooms downstairs, never mind, you can get, I'll get the picture.
It's a pumping chamber that's in the
Yeah.
floor of the basement, yeah.
Yeah, so at some
That
point, there's
doesn't
gonna
work.
have to be some thought about that. The other thing that I wanted to say is, I think Judy has been extraordinarily thoughtful in, as people's habits change, increasing the amount of digital things available, beginning to get rid of, CD and DVD things that people are not taking out. So the library has tried to be very responsive to what people want and current habits. It's, sponsoring the New York Times, people being able to get rent movies through the library, et cetera. There's really an attempt to stay up with the times.
Thank you. Yeah, and that does have some impact on space planning as well, but, yeah, it's all gradual, and we have a very, incredible readers in this town, young and old, and we continue to circulate 25,000 physical items a year, which is a lot for a town this size, and so it's not as though we wanna just, let go of the idea of continuing to build a book collection. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of how do we do that and be an open, have that open space to welcome people in for various events and things like that. Yeah. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. I've never, besides when I was a trustee myself and we did a couple of things that required warrant articles. I've never done a warrant article with a bond or anything like that, but, so I would like to learn more about that and what that would entail, but, we're not, this is just in thinking stage.
That's when you have to work with the selectmen because they're responsible for the warrant.
Yeah.
Does anybody here have any questions of Judy, or do you think we know enough about the library at this point to just see it with minor modifications for what we will vote on to go to town meeting?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Judy, you mentioned that now that you've got the correct benefits number,
Mm.
there might be some wiggle room. If you were going to wiggle, what line items would you wiggle?
Well, I mean, I don't like to stray, even though we have within our rights to set our own salaries, for staff and personnel committee for I don't like to stray too far from what the town has decided to give its employees, because I just don't think that that's, sensitive.
Mhm.
I would always like to pay my staff more, and the other possibility would be for materials, there's just never enough money, and, those prices are.
Just because you get a
Rising.
wiggle room doesn't mean you have to spend it.
Well,
Yeah,
let me
it's-
just say this, the selectmen have voted on nothing.
Yeah, in terms of the
They've
number.
discussed,
Yeah,
and they discussed what the CPI was,
Yeah.
but there's not been a vote, so.
yeah, yeah,
And I'll let you know if it changes.
yeah.
It's a small enough town so that if some people get more raise than another, the word gets out very quickly.
Well, you also have to reward your employees.
Yeah.
for,
Yeah.
Merit.
So-
Yeah, we've always tried to stick with the recommended amount and then decide on merit above that, depending on what, the year included. There were certainly years where it was absolutely going to happen and it was gonna, So, yeah, yeah, you're welcome. thank you, thanks for taking the time, and, you know, if you have any other questions, I'll look into the Eversource thing for both of our edition, and, you know, anything, you know where to find me.
I'll check my revenues, see if I get any of yours.
Yeah, but I mean, really, it wouldn't matter, would it?
No.
You know, so,
No.
yeah. And I will say also, it just, you know, for the record, and this is, it's not like by design or that I expect anything for it, but we always end up with a little bit of money that we give back to the town at the end of the year, you know, you know, like last year, I think we came in $5,000 under, you know, so we're never in the red at the end of the year, and I think that is a good sign.
Just because the town meeting votes the money doesn't mean you have to spend it.
I know, but I'm saying you gave us the money and we're not just going wild with it, so, and it means a lot to me to try to come in with a balanced budget, so. Okay.
I think it means a lot to other people too.
Good, good. Okay.
All right, thank you, Judy.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Does anybody have anything else, or is it time to have that magic
I'll
motion?
move to adjourn.
Motions to adjourn are not debatable.
I will.
Remember my Robert
The next
was well
week is my
enough for that.
birthday, I may join remotely, but it's the fire department, so may not. Happy to say.
They have run an annual conference
You
this
guys
year.
don't know, I spent my birthday
Well,
with you.
I don't believe